Guys, today we are ready to start our project. So the first thing that I'm going to do is just remind you that you have to use at least 3 different types of quilling techniques on your project, 3 or more. And then you need to coordinate the colors so that the real image is still obvious in your artwork. If you picked like a mandala or something more abstract, it's not going to be, let's say, an image. It's going to be more of a design. But those of us that did realistic images, it still needs to kind of come through. So let's go to the document camera and I want to show you what I mean. So the first thing you're going to need to do is get out your sketch worksheet and figure out what colors you're going to need and maybe about how much. I would start with 1 sheet of construction paper and 9x12 for each major area. So pink, I would need a 9x12, measure them, cut them. Green, measure them, cut them. Orange. Brown, I would probably only need half a sheet. And then white, I would need very little, probably like 3 strips. So I wouldn't need a lot for that. Then once I have all of my strips cut, so I have a few cut, I don't have a ton because I'm just doing this demo. Once I have these cut and put in a bag or my folder, or maybe I have it paper clipped, I'm going to go ahead and plan out my design. So I get a piece of cardboard. This is actually the back of a folder for my husband. He gave this to me. So back of folders, if you cut them, those work. Those are kind of like poster board. Cereal boxes work. If you decide to do a cereal box, what I would do, the cereal box is a bit small. I would take a piece of copy paper and then glue the copy paper over the cereal box so that it is not white. Now, don't use the side that has the actual cereal box designs because they tend to show through, but the cardboard side is better. Try to make your project about 8x10. So 8x10, 8.5x11 is about a printer sheet of paper. If it's a little bigger, that's fine. If it's a little smaller, that's fine. Just shoot for about this size. This music folder is a little bit bigger, and that's okay. If your design needs a square, you could cut a square and make this a square instead of a rectangle. So I can show you, I guess, how to do that if you're not sure how to make a rectangle into a square. So the first thing I would do is measure how wide it is because that's the shorter part. So this is about 9.5 inches wide. So then I'll go to the long side, take my ruler, make a mark at 9.5 because it's 9.5 inches wide. And then I'll connect the lines or the marks, and then I'll cut it. This way, my project is a square. So if you're doing especially a mandala, you're probably going to want a square for your project. It's not a requirement to have a square. I never told you the requirement, but I'd like it approximately 8x10, 8.5x11, something like that. All right, so now I'm going to sketch my actual design on I'm going to call it cardboard. It's kind of like poster board. So I will take and I'll make my coffee cup. Since it is the center of interest, I'm going to try to make it pretty big. Draw lightly. This looks a little taller than I made it earlier. So I'll look at it. I'll adjust it. If I don't like, what it looks like, I'm going to go ahead and add these little marks just in case, the steam marks, so I can put something over it. I would draw lighter than I'm drawing now. I'm drawing pretty dark. And that's mostly so that you can see it through this document camera, but you don't want to do that. All right, so you can start at any point that you want. I'm going to start on, let's say, the green part because that's the strips of paper that I cut and that matches my actual worksheet. So when I'm doing, let's say, this background part, it's kind of boring. It doesn't have a lot of design. So I may want to pick a little bit of a more technical sort of shape. So let's say I do a marquee, which is the one that has the pinched ends. So I'm going to go ahead and start that. Oh, just a comment on my finished one. You want to make sure that the image is still getting across. So this was like a My Little Pony. And so on the eyes, I made these much more concentrated, not as loose, tighter than I made the ones out here. So if you have a place where you really, really need details like eyes, make your rolls of paper tighter. Okay. So on my coffee cup here, I'm going to take my pencil and I will roll up the first strip. If you're at school, you're probably going to want to have a plastic bag to put all these in because I would not glue it until I get to my house personally. Okay, so I'm going to let it go a little bit because I'm doing the marquee. I'm going to put a little dot of glue on the other side. Let it dry. Pinch the ends. And it's not dry yet, so it's probably not going to work very well. And then I'm going to go through and I could just make a design putting these next to each other for the green. It looks pretty dark on the screen, but it is not that dark in real life. If I don't like it, I can change the shape. I can make up the shape. I could put different shapes in here. It's totally up to me. You want to make this cool. You want to make it creative. So if I want to make up my own and make it like a puzzle, go for it. The only thing is that I would make sure that whenever you change colors like this, that you put it right next to the other one. There shouldn't be any spaces. Some people have preferred to outline. So when I finished this My Little Pony on the edges, I did a strip of paper that literally outlined my whole design and then like when it changed colors. So you may want to, in between your sections, not a requirement, but just an option, outline with a piece of paper. So if I had all of the pink done in here, I could take a pink strip and glue it to the edge just so it had an outline and looked more finished. If you have additional questions on how to finish this or how to do the project, please let me know. I guess technically I could have done the background too, but if you want to just do the object and it looks better, that's fine. This one I would go ahead and do the background because it looks good. All right. Thank you so much.